So, to explain light attack weaving, first what we need to understand is that when you're casting skills, every skill has an animation that will last a certain amount of time. So let's say, I don't know if this is correct, I'm just saying, let's pretend, or let's give this example, that when I'm casting a skill, it is going to have an animation that lasts for 1.5 seconds, approximately. And a lot of people, what they would be doing is they're waiting for that full animation to end before they can try to cast another skill. But you actually do not need to do that. Okay, there is a global cooldown. You might sometimes hear this term, global cooldown, or it's abbreviated as GCD. That's very often used, of 1 second. Okay, so global cooldown of 1 second. This means that every skill you cast will last at minimum. There are some channeled skills which might last longer, but 1 second is for every single skill that you cast. You cast a skill, and then you need to wait 1 second before you can do something else. Now, after that 1 second, the animation keeps going, but you don't need to wait for it. Okay, you can do something, and you can cast a second skill, or ideally, you would cast light attack, right? So at the very end of the 1 second, even though the animation is still playing, you can cast the light attack. And what is better, so that little bluish cyan dot there is denoting when the light attack goes through. What is even better is that you don't actually need to wait that full 1 second duration. You can kind of queue it up a little bit earlier. So there's this red bar here that I'm showing, which is if you light attack during this portion of the skill, which is about 0.6 seconds-ish. Again, I'm not exactly sure about the numbers, and it doesn't matter that much what the precise numbers are. What is important to know is that at the beginning of the global cooldown, you cannot cast any light attacks because they will not go through. But after that, after the red ends, you can cast your light attack, and it will. So you can sort of like click here, and it will wait. But at the very end, when the 1 second ends, like when the 1 second GCD is over, the light attack will go through. Okay. And now this is where the light attack weaving comes into play, into what a lot of people struggle with when they're trying to parse and when they're trying to do high damage. And that is when you're queuing up another skill after your current skill. Okay, so let's say this is my first skill, and then I want to do a light attack, and I want to do a next skill right after that 1 second global cooldown. Now here comes the problem. You can do this if you light attack anywhere in this green area, okay? But if you press the second skill too early, so if you press it one or like before the global cooldown of 1 second, say, see how that second skill is now moved closer, this light attack will get cancelled. Okay, it will not go through. Even if you timed it correctly in the green zone, it will not go through if you press the second skill too early. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're timing your second skill after that 1 second global cooldown. You can light attack a little bit earlier, and this is where the nice leeway comes in. Like you can time your light attacks and your skills a little bit faster. So you click and then you cast a skill. And what I like to do is I like to click at the very end instead of, you know, anywhere in the green area. You click right before you're casting a skill. So that way these two actions are somewhat synchronized. Right, so you don't want to cast the second skill too early because your attack will get cancelled. It's always better to cast it a little bit late. Okay, because if you cast it early, you lose the light attack damage completely. If you cast it late, you're only losing a little bit of that time, right, which is known as the weaving average. So let's say this time is something around 0.2 seconds. where I cast a skill, then I do a light attack, and then I wait 0.2 seconds, and I cast another skill. This is fine. Like, you're gonna be able to get really, really good damage like this. And this is the most important part about light attack weaving, and we're going to go into a bit more detail later. So as you're improving, as you're getting better, you will want to try to lower that weaving average. And you want to go faster and bring that as close to 0, or as close to 1, I guess, as possible. But you do not want to go over. So if you're timing your skills and you can bring it low, bring it as close to 0 as possible. But if you go below 0, if you go a little bit faster, then you're losing a lot of damage. Okay, so it's kind of like a blackjack thing. You're trying to get as close as possible to 21, but not over. I don't know how many of you play blackjack, but yeah. Okay, so the next thing is we want to talk about bar swaps. And when you're swapping bars, this is another sort of point of injury for a lot of people when they're doing damage. When you bar swap, you're creating sort of another red zone where you cannot cast any light attacks and you cannot cast any skills. So as you can see, if you bar swap at sort of the end of your skill, this creates about 0.25 seconds, maybe 0.3 seconds timing where you cannot cast anything and your light attacks will not go through. So there's that little bit of a delay, right? You don't want that. What you want to do is you want to cast your bar swapping as early as possible in the skill. So something like this, right? You cast your skill, then you bar swap, and then you do your light attack at your next skill. So this is the ideal timing for bar swaps, and we'll also look at that in a bit more detail. Yeah, so if you understand this, if you understand these timings, we're gonna go into the game now, and we're going to take a look at how to practice and how to check your timing and how to check that you're not missing any light attacks. So let's go through the add-ons that I use. You don't need them, but I would highly recommend that you get those for practicing. So action duration reminder is kind of nice, but its functionality has actually been implemented in the game, which shows you skill cooldowns. That's good for practicing. The most important one I would say is combat metrics. This one shows you your DPS and a lot of information about just how you parse, and this will be very important for understanding what mistakes you're doing and how to improve them. Combat metronome is kind of nice. There are other add-ons also that do that. This is mostly for timing your light attacks, and it will show you the correct timing for most skills and when to cast them, and I will explain that. So combat metrics, combat metronome, probably the two most important add-ons to have. You don't really need anything else. Rune Focus Counter is only for Nightblades. Light Attack Helper can be good as well. I would maybe recommend doing that, especially if you're not killing the big dummies yet, only the smaller ones. Miat's Cast Icon, if you're Templar, this is really good, especially. So this is for channel skills. And what's the last one? I forgot. Weave delays. Yeah, this is also pretty good for identifying mistakes. You choose one of the dummies. I have 3 here, different ones. Let's start on the lowest one. And what you want to do at first is slot a spammable skill. Anything. I'm just using crushing weapon. It doesn't matter which one, but make sure it is instant cast. Okay, so when you hover over a skill, it says cast time in the top right, and this one is instant. If I went, for example, for something like, what is it, two-handed wrecking blow, right? This is cast time 0.8 seconds. We will go to skills that have cast time a little bit later, because they behave slightly differently. Right now, what I want you to do is just pick one skill that has no cast time. So if you have, if you're Stamina or Magicka, it doesn't matter. Like for Magicka, you most likely want to go Destruction Staff and go Force Shock with like Force Pulse or Crushing Shock either is okay. You can even do one-handed shield and just spam puncture. Something that's cheap, ideally. Like puncture is pretty. It's not good for DPS, but it's good for practicing. We're going to want to. Let's start the precursor, just 300,000 health, and you want to kill it. Doing the rotation by doing left click or your light attack and skill. And these are the skills we'll be looking at, or the numbers. So you can see when I cast a skill, I get that little bar above. That's the add-on. What's the add-on? Combat Metronome. It's a Combat Metronome add-on. And this tells you, I have changed the default color of it. It's the yellow or the orange is a little bit different to the default. And I changed red to green because I feel like red is a bad indicator of something that is correct. Because you want to press your skill when it's in the green, right? Or when it's in the red. Red is default, I changed it to green. Now, so I'm going to light attack and press my skill. And you can kind of see that the ultimate, or like the best time to press the next one is when it's in green. Right, and you want to click and skill, click and skill, click and skill, keep pressing that. And make sure your timing is correct. Right, so we have now killed the dummy. You can see the light attack helper next to my skills is 0.67 light attacks per second. This is pretty bad, because I was waiting quite a long time, if you remember, after that first cast. If you type /CMX in your chat, and you have the Combat Metrics add-on, this will show you this information, and this is some of your most important information right here. So, we're going to go to Info, if you click on this page. And these are the most important numbers. So first of all, you take a look at how many things you have missed. So right now here it says miss 0. This is how many skills you have missed. So for example, if I do something like, I'm gonna do light attack, skill, light attack, skill, light attack, light attack. Okay? So I missed one skill there. And this should now say in my combat metrics window that after a light attack, there was one miss. So we're gonna go to the next fight. See, I did a light attack, and after the light attack, there was one miss. Because I cast a light attack after a light attack, instead of casting a skill. So I missed a skill. Now, you can also see it here. You have weapon attacks 3, skills 2. So you want these numbers to be ideally the same, right? When you do a full parse, it should say something like, I don't know, 150 weapon attacks, 150 skills. Depending on your DPS, will probably be more as you're starting off. But as you're reaching like the 120k, then it's going to be around 140 attacks and skills. Okay, don't get fooled by just these numbers, because you could have something like this. Okay, I'll show you another thing that sometimes happens. So if I'm going to do light attack, skill, light attack, skill, light attack, skill, light attack, light attack, skill, skill. Okay, so how much did we miss? We missed one light attack and one skill. Okay, because we didn't do them properly at the end. And as you can see, this is weapon attacks 4, skills 5. So it looks from this like you only missed one thing, right? Like, oh yeah, I should have had one more attack. But no, we missed one skill here and one light attack here, right? This next to your skills, it says, after this crushing weapon cast, we missed a light attack. And this says, after light attack cast, we missed a skill cast. Okay, kind of complicated sentence that I just said, but yeah. Okay, so look at these numbers. Make sure you don't have any misses. If you're missing them, then that means your timing is off, or just like your order of operations is off. So, next thing we want to look at, Maybe don't worry about this just yet. Let's again try to kill the dummy. And yeah, this is really just what you want to practice. Just make sure your light attack skill. You can go slowly, light attack skill, but make sure it is in the correct order. Okay, light attack skill. Just make sure you get that rotation. Nice. Again, we're gonna look at CMX. So the next thing to worry about, if your weapon attacks and your skills, if they're equal, if you're not really missing any, next thing you want to worry about is this, the weaving average, right? This is the time that you spent. So right now I was going very slowly. As you can see, weaving average is 0.72 seconds. That means that after every skill cast, I was kind of standing still and doing nothing for 0.7 seconds. That is a very, very long time, and you do not want that. Okay, so 0.7 seconds is like light attack skill, and now we wait and do nothing, right? We're standing still, we're wasting time. Again, light attack skill, standing still, wasting time, doing nothing, doing a roll dodge, or I don't know. Light attack, roll dodges are not a waste of time if it prevents you from dying, okay? Yeah, but so, okay, I just did like an awful time waste there, and it should say it in my combat metrics. Let's see what it was. Yeah, 4 seconds, right? 4 seconds after every skill. That's just ridiculously bad. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you bring this number down, and next to these, it will show you, so next to each skill, it will show you the timing if you're using more skills. So on average, I had 4.3 seconds wasted time after crushing weapon. So you want to make sure you bring that timer down. So let's try to see how fast we can go. I'm going to just start on the dummy, and I'm going to kill it with the weapon. So ideally, if your timing is correct, it would be below 0.1 seconds, but you can always go lower. Like, you're probably not gonna get to 0 because that's insane super machine parsing, but below 0.1 is when you can start seeing things like 100k DPS. Okay, so cast this, and we go light attack skill, and we make sure we get the timing correct. You can also see in the bottom right corner my light attacks per second. I think I just missed one there. No. So that's a good number to go by as well. If you look at this, yeah, 0.01 seconds. So this is very decent. It looks like I missed something. No, it's just I think because I precast before the DPS starts. Yeah, so if you can do something like it, this is also a lot easier because the rotation is short and it's simple, so it's just spammable. But yeah, you should try to get that timing as low as possible. 0.01 seconds is very good. Now, once you practice that, I would highly recommend you also make sure you get the hang of... I'm going to try to slot another skill. I kind of don't want... Yeah, okay. So I'm using a staff on my back bar. Or maybe before we do that, let's get another skill. So you can also go to, once you're done with the precursor, you can go to a higher damage dummy. You can do the 3 million dummy, or I like to use the Iron Atronac because it also gives you extra sustain. So that's really nice. It looks scary because it has 21 million health, but it makes your stamina and magicka recovery significantly better. And it also gives you more damage because it provides you with buffs when you attack it. So I'm going to slot another skill. So Pray, it doesn't matter, any skill from your rotation that has some duration, right? So Daedric Pray is a sorcerer skill and it lasts for 6 seconds. Any damage over time effect would be fine, but make sure it's not too long. Like I could use Boundless Storm, but it's 30 seconds. It's kind of, well, I'm trying to learn how to cast other skills. I choose Pray. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast our dot, and it will show a timer if you have action duration reminder, or it's also in the default settings. And we're going to do that. So we're gonna cast Pray, and you will see it will say 6 seconds. So after that time, you want to be casting Spammable when the timer is going down, and when the timer runs out, you want to cast the dot again. So look at this. I'm gonna pray, and now Spammable, 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 Spammable. Pray has run out. Now we cast it again, and we keep doing this. Right? You can see the timer: 2 seconds, 1 second left. Cast pray, and you keep going with the Spammables. Make sure you're doing your light attacks. Make sure you're doing the timing correctly. So we're going, and when you feel like you've had enough, or like if you run out of stamina or magic, it's good to just back away. So we did 29 there. We back away, wait for the combat to end. You will know that the combat is over when the health bar turns yellow. Yep, now you can type /CMX in chat. Okay, so this is what happened, right? You see I had 0.1, so it was kind of slow. 0.1 is really good. If you're a beginner and you get 0.1, this is really, really good. But we missed 3 skills. Right, so something went off there. Maybe I wasn't parsing as well as I could. You can see I missed 3 skills. So this is sort of how you slowly complicate your rotation, right? You don't want to jump straight into the most difficult and go full dynamic rotation straight away if you're learning. Just add 1 skill. Now, let's add more skills, but one of the most important things to add that can be quite tricky to do is bar swapping, right? So bar swapping will have a different timing, and you want to make sure you're bar swapping fairly quickly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do crushing weapon, and then we're going to swap bars, and we're going to do force pulls and swap bars. Okay, and we want to make sure you get the timing on that correctly and that you're not missing skills. Maybe even go back to the precursor for this. So, remember, you want to do this quickly. Okay, you don't want to take too long to bar swap, or you don't want to bar swap late. So you want to do a light attack, skill bar swap, like really, really instantly almost. You will want to slow down a little bit if you're casting ground targeted abilities, but let's not go there just yet, because there's a delay, right? They're sort of slow, and sometimes you can cancel them, but that's only with ground targeted abilities, or also if you have like channeled or non-instant cast. Okay, so light attack, skill, bar swap. And then you wait your 1 second, your global cooldown. Okay, you don't want to do light attack skill and wait and then bar swap, because then you will be missing light attacks. Okay, and you will get delays. So you want to do light attack skill bar swap. Now you wait for the global cooldown, 1 second, and then you do light attack skill bar swap. Okay, and same thing, light attack skill bar swap, and you wait. Light attack skill bar swap, and you wait. So we're going to wait for this combat to end, and we're going to try again. Okay, let's go. Light attack skill bar swap, light attack skill bar swap, light attack skill bar swap. I'm gonna lose my mind saying this over and over. Okay, so this is sort of your, this is how you handle bar swapping. A lot of people miss light attacks, a lot of people get a lot of delays when they're doing that. But if you can do this, and if you can do this well, so 0.01 seconds, nice. No missed skills, no missed light attacks, nice. Okay. Did quite well there. So once you do that, you can start adding skills that will be a little bit more complicated. So let's try to add wall. And I'm going to get rid of this. So there will be wall on our backpack because we're using a staff. If you're using, doesn't matter, really doesn't matter. And now crushing weapon, prey, and we'll try to keep them all up. Okay, we're trying to keep all the dots up as they're as we're casting. So we're going to do. So let's start with light attack, prey, and then we're gonna cast wall. And then we go to spammables and we refresh the dots as soon as they run out. So let's do prey, wall, and now we're casting spammables and we're paying attention. Prey is running out soon. It ran out. Now we do prey and we're back to spammables. 2 seconds on wall, 1 second on wall, swap, cast wall. Refresh spray. Okay, so as soon as the dots ran out, you want to refresh them. If they're active, you want to not refresh them. Some dots will be worth refreshing early, especially later on when you're. I think I had a delay there on the spray. I could have refreshed it 1 second earlier. Okay, so let's just end the parse here. I don't want to go too low because yeah, I'm gonna probably run out of stamina soon. Yep, but we're gonna wait here. Also, when you're ending your parse, make sure you have no dots sticking. So when you decide, okay, I'm gonna stop now, make sure you have no dots sticking. Okay, because like if I stop, but my wall is still doing damage, then this is going to show on your your weaving and that you wasted time, right? So make sure you have no dots. Okay, 3 missed skills. Not great, but you know, when you're learning it, you will get much higher numbers, and you want to make sure you bring that down. 0.08 seconds weave time, pretty good. Okay, yeah. So this is how you practice. This is how you verify that you're doing well, and then you sort of just keep adding more and more skills. We can maybe, you know, as long as you're comfortable, you can, if you want, you can maybe just like dive straight in. I'm gonna, so let's see, right, my a full sort of build for Sork that I've been doing. Let me just load up my ultimate parse build. Yeah, so this is why Alpha Gear is kind of nice, right? I just click and everything is ready. Or you can even set hotkeys. So for example, I have like, if I press Shift 8, that's my hotkey. Wait, I'm in combat. Ah, pets, you dummy. No, this is the dummy. So we can kind of see how doing rotation can be good, right? So Shift 8, right? I press that. That's my pre-buff setup. So I cast this skill, I cast Channeled Exuberation, all the good stuff. And now we swap to our setup. Recast all the dots, drop the atro, and we charge. There we go. I forgot to precast bound armaments. Right, now I'm doing spammable. 1 skill ran out, did that. You want to cast spray, you want to do another spammable. Carve is running out, refresh it early, right? That's 1 skill you want to refresh. So you can see this can get quite hectic. Like really, this gets very hectic. And don't worry too much if you can't get it, because this is difficult. Parsing is difficult. So I remember when I was first doing it, why do I have no stamina? A carve ran out, right? Oh my god. So that's bad, you don't want your carve to run out. Anyway, this is how you practice your rotations. Oh yeah, I didn't have food buff active. Sure, that's great. Just as I was saying in the beginning, make sure you have your lava food, soup, and salt rice. Or did I? I don't see it. Major forest. Yeah, no food. I'm silly. Yeah, I was wondering why my stamina is so low. Anyway, what I was saying, that your rotation will take a while to learn, especially if you're doing a full rotation. Just make sure you're doing it slowly and that you're refreshing your skills, and it will take several days. Like, don't expect it to just nail a rotation on the first day. I remember when I was first learning this, I was standing in front of a dummy and I felt like my brain is leaking out my ear, like steam coming out my ears. Really get the gears turning. It takes practice. It really takes practice, and you want to make sure you get comfortable with this and that you get that understanding. It will take several days. Okay, so you want to, this is how I learned. I went to a dummy, I spent like 1 or 2 hours just smashing buttons and getting tired, and then going to bed, sleeping, and then go back to it the next day, and suddenly it's a lot easier, right? And then you repeat that a few times, and then you're very comfortable with rotation, you're very comfortable with parsing. But you need to understand how it works. You need to understand how to do light attacks. how to do bar swaps. Now, we're going to go into channeled skills. So channeled skills are slightly different. Okay, Wrecking Blow is a channeled skill, not channeled. It's not an instant cast. Okay, so it has a cast time 0.8 seconds. So let's try to look at that. And I need a two-hander. This will also be very important if you're Templar. If you're Templar, your Jabs, or your, what's the Magicka version called? Sweeping Strike something? I don't know. Yeah, but your Templar spammable is has a cast time of 1 second. This has a 0.8 seconds. And this means that you cannot bar swap during this cast time. Okay, so if I go with pets, I don't like. Why am I playing Sork? So I'm going. Let's try to bar swap, right? If I do a left click and my Wrecking Blow, and try to bar swap, I cannot do it. It does it at the very end. Okay, my bar swap, by the way, is my thumb mouse button. You can see it when I'm pressing it on the side of the mouse. So, see, I'm spamming it, but no bar swap is happening. It happens at the very end. So, this is what you do. When you need to bar swap, ideally you don't bar swap off of a cast time ability. Right, so I can be doing something like this. I'm doing my spammable. When you need to bar swap, you cast Prey, and then you bar swap, right? You cast a different skill. And we go back to this. Okay, so you want to try to cast a different skill. Bound Armaments is really nice for a sorcerer, because I can just keep casting this, right? And I want to bar swap, cast Bound Armaments, do the card, do your back bar, and we go back to this. I want to bar swap, cast Bound Armaments, or Prey, bar swap, right? Trying to bar swap after Wrecking Blow is going to be very difficult. We try to bar swap after a different skill. If you need to, if you really, really need to, this might be important for Templars. You want to bar swap off after the skill by doing... by waiting to the end. So we're going to do Wrecking Blow, or whatever your channel skill is. Wrecking Blow, and then at the end, you do Light Attack, Bar Swap, Skill. So this is a slightly different way of doing this. And you only want to do this if you have cast time skills. So the Wrecking Blow, Light Attack, Bar Swap, Skill. Okay? And then we sort of keep going. So Wrecking Blow, Light Attack, Bar Swap, Skill, and then we do another skill, and we swap off of that. This will be very important for Templars. If you're doing jabs, this is how you want to do bar swapping after jabs. So you finish your jab, you do light attack, bar swap, skill. When it's over, you keep doing a rotation normally. Okay. This is how you bar swap after cast time skill. And lastly, do I have a bow? Yeah, let's get a bow. Come on. So ground targeted abilities are going to be annoying. So you want to be careful about that. Please end the combat so I can change my weapons. Hello? Okay. Put a bow. I know that from a bow, volley, so like Endless Hail is a very important skill to have. It's a lot of damage. But it's ground targeted, and also you want to make sure that you're going to gameplay, settings gameplay, and that you have quick cast ground abilities on. By default it's on automatic, and that's really bad. You want to make sure it's quick casting. So when we do Endless Hail, you can see there's like a really long delay, and if I do Endless Hail and bar swap, it's not gonna go through. Okay, this one went. This one will get lucky. But sometimes, like, if you go very quickly, I'm not gonna be able to get it. It only happens when it's important. But yeah, sometimes it's just like really, really bad. I just pressed it there and it didn't work. Right? So, see, if you saw my skill presses, I pressed the skill, I press the bar swap, and it doesn't go off. So this will be especially bad if your ping is high. We can do another skill like, I know Sork has the, what's it called? This thing. Lightning Blood. Ugh. Such a dirty, nasty skill. So, because again, it's ground targeted, right? For sorcerers, also there will be the Greater Storm Atronach ultimate. Oh my god! Like imagine having. Okay, well, this ultimate is overpowered. Okay, it's so strong, but again, it's ground targeted. So if you bar swap too early, it's not gonna go through, and that's not very annoying. So we're gonna do Liquid Lightning, bar swap, volley, bar swap, and like, what's happening? Volley didn't go through. What's going on? Right? So what you want to do is a very similar thing to what you would do when you're swapping off of jabs. Right? So you do light attack skill, and at the end, you wait. You don't bar swap. Then you do light attack bar swap skill. Okay? Again, we're casting the skill, light attack bar swap skill. So that's one way of doing it. That's one way of doing it. Let's stop this. You can do something like, where's my... I don't know. Cast something else, right? Cast something that's not ground casted. So, for example, Volta Familiar, right? Well, I'm gonna spawn it. So I'm doing my Raking Blows, whatever, killing things. Cast Spray, swap, and now we do Lightning Flood. And instead of swapping instantly, we do another skill. So I cast the pet there, and then I swapped. Okay? So you don't want to swap instantly after Lightning Flood. You do something else first. So no ground targeted abilities. Those are very annoying. And yeah, this is mostly how you deal with rotations. There's one more thing I need to talk about, I feel. So let's get to that. And that will be... There are a few skills that have like a movement thing, and one of them is if you're doing two-handed, especially since it's somewhat meta now. You want to do Stampede. Even though it says instant cast, it has like a charge thing. So if I cast Stampede, I'm gonna charge at the enemy, right? And that means you cannot bar swap during this. So if I'm charging and I'm trying to bar swap, it doesn't work, right? Even though it's an instant cast. So the way you deal with that is you want to cancel. So now we're kind of getting like into super complicated territory of rotations. You want to cancel the charge animation by moving. So if I charge and I move to the side there, it's going to cancel it. The skill will still go through, it will still deal damage, but the movement is interrupting sort of your bar lock. You can see like my bar even kind of turns gray there. No, I don't think that's relevant. But you cannot cast any skills, right? So instead, I'm going to cast Stampede and move, and then you can bar swap. You see, I just bar swap there just fine. So flat attack, Stampede, move, any direction, doesn't matter, just like take one step. Flat attack, Stampede, move, bar swap, and you're fine. So this is how you do those Stampede rotations. And this is sometimes why you see people placing like, I don't know, I saw like they would have a dummy and they place some block here, like some object, and then they press automatic walking and they just walk forward constantly. I think that's pretty silly to do, because you will never do that in actual fights. Just practice the canceling things normally.